So we're going to start to do this Ashcraft ATB in the Salisbury yet again. I started off this morning, however we found out there's a discrepancy in this ATB because when we put our dummy bearings on this morning they just wouldn't fit, and I just got back from JP's shop and that's how they're supposed to go on. They're supposed to be a nice sliding fit, but we found out that they're actually they're supposed to be a 2.5 thousandths of an inch. These are all in inches, by the way. 2.5 thousandths of an inch press fit, but they're actually 3.5 thousandths of an inch. So we had to hone these out for another thousandth of an inch so they would fit. Now, whilst I was waiting for JP to get freed off, I put the bearing race in here just to save a little bit of time. What we're going to do, oh, and I also pressed the bearing on here because we're not going to take that one off again, so just to save a little bit of time. So now what we're going to do is going to put this ATB into this diff and we're going to calculate the end float on it. By calculating the end float without the pinioning is going to make life a lot easier, and without the crown wheel on here it's going to make it lighter. You'll see. So let's turn it this way. Now this is all cleaned out. Right, here we go. Which way to go around? These are heavy. Very heavy. So I think I might just put a strap around it. Just find the dirtiest strap you can, because this will make life a lot easier. Because there's a lot of in and out work with these things. You know, taking them out, putting them back in again. And you'll see in a minute why it's important for these dummy bearings, especially when you do quite a few like I do, which makes life a lot easier. So there we go, still here. We're going to put the pry bars and we're going to push this assembly over here and then tighten the cap down, and you'll see why. Sometimes you just need one, just a good press. There, did you see that? Did you see how it moved? Now, because that's the place where it has to end up. Get it? So now we'll put our cap on. And fasten that down. Now, where's my stockings? We're not going to torque this down, we're just going to nip them down. Then we get in here and pry this axle the other way, the differential the other way. You see that? Look, let's do it again. So there's our bearing race. We'll pry this to the other side and make sure that's really pressed tight against here, which it is. So now, with a bit of luck on this, we should be able to move this backwards and forwards. Isn't that marvellous? I've got an Uma phone now, so I can actually block all these calls, but they all seem to shuffle numbers. So there we go. That's one layer. That's how much float we've got on there. And you see how easy it is? We're not messing about with shims. So what we're going to do now is set up our dial gauge and calculate how much float is on here. So give me a minute or two and I'll get set up. So I've got the gauge set up in thousandths of an inch, because the shims are in thousandths of an inch. So what we've got now is we've got 0.0005, half a thousandth of an inch. Ain't going to make much of a difference. So now we're going to see how much that moves, and that is 93 thousandths of an inch. We find a suitable place on our bench and we make a note of 0.093, and also we find a piece of paper to write that down on. So now we can select from our shim pack that amount of shims because the next stage is to put the pinion in. Now the reason why we have no crown wheel on here or anything like that, that gives us free and easy movement right across the range of this. Because if we had the crown wheel on and the pinion, we wouldn't be able to push this to its fullest extent. Do you get it? So with those pieces out, now this is free floating, it's kind of easy. So we've got that measurement. I'll take this off. Turn that off. I usually leave it on. And now we'll get set up. And we can now put on the crown wheel, we can now put in the pinion, but we'll come to that in a minute. So I'm going to just stop the camera, get set up with this, and then we'll come back.